Today is March 19th, 2018. We're at the University of Georgia, Athens. And my name is Jacqueline Cogdell, DjeDje.
Okay.
And I'm speaking with
Sylvanus Turner.
Okay.
Sylvanus Zeke Turner. The middle name is Zeke.
Okay. Well, I'm so happy to meet you. We had a very short conversation, but a very meaningful conversation a few days ago. And so I've been hearing about you. Since we talked with each other, I've been asking people, well, who is this person and why is he so special? So they think you're very special, so hopefully we can have a very nice conversation.
I hope so.
Yeah. And I may ask you questions that I already know the answer.
Okay.
But the reason I'm asking is so that we can have this here, so that people can have access to it later. So just as right now, would you please give me your full name again?
Full name is Sylvanus Turner. Middle name Zeke, and I took Zeke from quarterback playing at Georgia. And I was playing at my high school quarterback. And high school kids don't act like college kids, so his name was Zeke Patowski. And I was a quarterback in my high school. She started calling me Zeke Patowski, Zeke, And so I've been had that name ever since.
Okay. What is your occupation?
I'm retired now.
What type of work did you do before?
I worked at Westinghouse. We built transformers over there.
Would you say that again?
Westinghouse, we built transformers.
Okay. What is your age?
Age, 79.
79. Okay, you look very well. I'm hitting that age myself.
Oh, really?
Yes. And where were you born?
Athens, Georgia, Clark County.
Clark County, Athens, Georgia. And where do you live now?
I live on Timothy Road. Timothy Road, here in Athens.
Okay. And your family members? Are you married and do you have children or anything like that?
I have 3 boys.
Okay.
3 boys. Not married to my wife, ceased. Married again recently, but only have three boys, and they are grown and gone. Okay. One is in Seattle, Washington. One is in Arizona, and one is here in Athens.
Okay. What was your first wife's name?
Mozella.
Mozella? Mm-hmm. And her maiden name?
Bates. No, that's my mom, Bates. She's Robinson.
Mozella Robinson, okay. Is she originally from Athens?
Yes.
Okay. And your second wife?
She's
What is her name?
Audrey.
Audrey?
Audrey Milo.
Milo. And your children, what are their names?
Oldest one is Gregory.
Gregory?
Sylvanus Turner. And Keith Turner. Keith Eugene Turner, I'm sorry. And Aubrey Bernard Turner.
Okay. Were they all born here in Athens?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. What about your parents? What are their names?
My dad's name was Audley Turner.
Oh, could you spell that?
Audley.
Okay.
And my mom was Roberta Turner.
Okay. Do you remember her maiden name?
She was a Bates.
A Bates.
Yes, ma'am.
I see. Where were they born and raised?
I'm sorry, let me cut this off. They were born, my dad was born in Oconee County and raised in Oconee County. And my mom, she was born in Clark County, raised in Clark County.
Okay. Oconee County, is that here in Georgia?
Yes, son.
Okay.
Just joining Clark County.
I see. Okay. Do you know around the time they were born? Or how old I know another way of looking at it. How old were they when they died? You remember? Or when did they die?
My dad died at 78.
In 1978?
78, yes, ma'am.
Okay, you remember how old he was when he died?
I think he was 76, I believe.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that, but I think 76.
Okay, and your mom?
Mom was 62.
When she died?
When she died.
Okay, and do you remember the year she died?
Don't quite remember the year she died.
Okay, was it before or after your dad?
After my dad.
After your dad. And do you have any sisters and brothers?
I have There's 9 of us. So, I have 5 girls and 4 boys.
Okay.
And my oldest sister named Arnita, and she lives in California now. And then my other sister, Janice, she lives here in Athens, Georgia, in Clark County. And Myrtle, she lives in Decatur, Georgia. Olivia lives in Alabama. And I have a brother that lives in Tucson. No, brother lives in, Tucson, Arizona. And a brother lives in Florida. And another brother lives here in Athens.
Okay.
So, was that 5 girls and 4 boys?
Almost, I guess so. I wasn't counting.
I think that's what it was.
You remember, your memory is remarkable.
No, it's not either.
I have one sister, and sometimes I forget her name. Yeah, and they're all over the place. Yes.
Yeah, they're scattered about which way.
Yeah. And where are you in that age? You know, the 9 of you. Are you the oldest, the middle, or the youngest?
I'm like kind of the middle, I guess, because I have a brother that's older than me and a sister older than me. And then I'm next.
Okay.
And then it's on down the line.
I see. Okay. Now, what type of work did your parents do?
My dad was a contractor, carpenter, and he built houses and things like that. And Mom was pretty much a housewife, I guess.
Okay.
She took care of the house.
I see. Okay. Now, I'm curious about Athens. So they were here in Athens, I guess during the early part of the 20th century.
Yes.
Did they ever think about leaving Athens? I know my family, they were, I'm from Southeast Georgia, so I'm a Georgian too.
Oh, really?
Yes, Jessup, Georgia, near Savannah.
I know where it is. Okay.
You know where that is. Okay, but there came a time when people were thinking about either leaving, going up north, or either they're staying here. A lot of my family stayed, and quite a few went north. Racial conditions, it was not good for Black people.
I know.
So I'm curious, did your family, did they ever make a decision, or did they say anything about why they stayed in Athens?
I don't remember them ever talking about leaving, moving somewhere else. Hey, relatives lived somewhere else, moved here and lived somewhere else. And they
Who was that?
Relatives.
Relatives?
And they would visit occasionally, like special days, like family reunions, that kind of thing. Then they would come back home for that. Church revivals, they'd come home for that. But the base of they moved somewhere else.
Okay.
But Mom and Dad I never heard them say anything about moving somewhere else.
And the family members who move, which direction do they go? Do they go north or just close by or Midwest?
North, I believe.
A lot of them went maybe to Washington, D.C., New York, and
that
those
kind
places.
of place, yeah. That one grandmother, she moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She's my grandmother, and she was a minister also.
A minister also? So you say also. So were there ministers in your family or something?
Well, my grandfather was a minister. Her dad was a minister. And I think that was the only ministers we had in the family. Well, my uncle was a minister. My mom's brother was a minister. And that's pretty much it on the ministers.
So all of this is on your mom's side of the family, the ministers?
Yes.
Okay. Now your siblings, the ones who moved to California and all of these other places, when did they move?
After they gotten grown
Okay.
and gotten out of school and this kind of thing.
So this was around, what, the 40s or 50s? Or?
Yeah, 40s, 50s, right in that area.
Yeah. Because it's interesting to see this migration, of Blacks. They started around the 20s, but then people began to migrate all the way through the 60s.
Right.
And so I'm just curious, that's sort of significant with families.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know too many people from Athens, so I may be asking you. You have quite a few information. Is there anything else you want to say about your family, you know, in terms of what they did or whatever?
Well, they all went to school, and it's my older sister. She went to Athens High Industrial. Well, Athens High in Athens High then is still Athens High Industrial, and another sister went to Athens High. The brother went to two brothers went to Athens High, and my children went to every school in Athens, I guess, because they kept swapping around because of where they lived. You had to go in that area, you know, they had it blocked off back then. It seemed like every year they went to a different school because they changed the rules. So they went to all the schools around here. And then my oldest one, also the next two oldest boys, they went to Seattle, Washington to school. And because one finished there and the other one didn't. And one went to Albany State, and he finished Albany State. That's one in Arizona. And he's married now, and they got, his wife had children before they got married, two girls, I believe. And so they're still in Arizona now. And so my brother in Florida, he went to Athens High Industrial, and he went off to Albany State, and he finished there, and then he got another job, got a job rather. He got hired at Michigan State University, vice president of Michigan State University. So, and the rest of my school, next to my oldest sister, she taught in the school, Clark County school area, and she worked for the Board of Education here. And all of them pretty much worked and went to school and got out of school and worked, you know. And so it was pretty interesting. So
yeah, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, it is.
For your family to all of them to go to school, finish school, and to really make a difference of themselves.
That's right. And none of them never went to jail, anything like that. You know, they stayed pretty clean, you know. So then there was no bad stuff, and they never went to jail or anything. It all worked out pretty good for them, you know.
Yes. Now, the person who went to Seattle, Washington, now why did he choose all the way over to Seattle, Washington?
Well, I had a brother living out there at the time. One was living in Washington State University. He was living out there at the time. So he encouraged him, why don't you come out, I'll be with you, I'll be with you, you know, and stuff like that. And so they decided that's where they wanted to go. So.
Okay. What was his name, the one who went to Washington, Seattle?
His name is Aubrey Bernard.
Aubrey Bernard.
Aubrey Bernard.
Aubrey Bernard.
Yeah.
And the brother you said was vice president of Michigan State.
His name is Moses.
Moses. Okay. Yeah. Ezekiel and Moses.
Yeah. Actually, Sylvanus came out. That name's in the Bible, somewhere in James, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And what if your mom did the naming?
I don't know who did that. I think she did. She did the naming, I think, because she told me that. It's in James.
I see. Okay. Now, have you ever lived any other place besides Athens?
No, I've lived in Athens all my life.
Now, why did you stay here? Why do you think you decided to stay here?
I just never had a reason to leave, you know. I was working out. I didn't go to college, so I got out of school and started working at the Thornton Brothers Paper Company, driving truck and delivery truck, and that's how I stayed in Athens. And so I left there and went to Westinghouse, and that back then they was hiring, because you had to be kind of different to get hired, you know, because they do all kind of background checks on you. And then most of the time they went to the chief of policemen and asked them, did they know us, you know, and if they did, they that's pretty good, and they would hire on that saying, you know. And so most people, local people, just got jobs at like places like Westinghouse, General Times, and those kind of places. Back then, the sewing plants were real big, you know. A lot of the women went work for the sewing companies.
Sewing companies?
Sewing companies, yeah.
Okay.
So actually, my wife worked at a sewing company for a long time, for years and years. But she finally kind of retired. Well, she kind of got sick, really. So she retired, and so we just kind of stayed here. We didn't try to go off anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When did she pass away? Your first wife?
In 2000.
In 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And you remarried when?
What? Excuse me, about a year ago.
I see. Okay.
Not long.
Not long. Okay. 2000, a year ago. When did you start working at Westinghouse? The years?
In 62, I think it was.
62. And then you said you worked at Thornton?
Thornton Brothers Paper Company.
Okay. When did you work with them?
I worked with them before I went to Westinghouse. It must have been back in the right out of high school in the 50s, I guess was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you traveled outside the United States at all?
No, I have not.
Okay. Have you traveled outside of Georgia?
Yeah. I traveled a lot. Because I was saying, I was a member of the James Cleveland Gospel Music Workshop of America. I was a member of that for years and years and years. And we'd have a convention every year in August, a different city, different area, and have a board meeting in April. And that was in different cities. So I got to travel all the cities in the States, you know. So that was pretty interesting. Got to see some awful things.
Yeah. I know I visited the one that took place in Las Vegas. Did you ever go to that one?
I've been in Las Vegas twice.
Yeah.
I've been in Las Vegas 3 times, really.
Yeah. I think the one that I went to may have been in the late 90s or the early 2000s.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Late 90s, 2000, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So you know Preston.
Yeah.
Rhodina Preston.
Yeah, Rhodina, yeah.
Yeah, she passed away.
Yeah.
Did you realize that?
Yeah, she was yeah, we get all the news on that, so.
Right.
Yeah, she was something else.
I interviewed her.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. When I began, I used to do this kind of research in Los Angeles. So I even interviewed James Cleveland.
Oh, really?
He invited me to his house, and I interviewed him.
Oh.
And a lot of the people around there, Margaret Pleasant Duro.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I interviewed all of them.
She always brings song to workshop, or she always bring a spiritual workshop. I believe she always brings spiritual workshop. She's something else. She's different.
Right. Okay. So we'll come back to that. We'll come back to your travels. And I didn't know you were a member of the.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people are members, but the fact that you were on the board and you used to travel with them quite a bit. That's significant. Okay. Yeah. What about your educational background? Where did you go to school? Elementary, junior high, high school?
Well, elementary school was out on Timothy Road. Not where the one is now, right across the street from my Timothy Baptist Church. There was a school over there across the street from the church. So we probably had the nicest elementary school around here. But every church had a school, you know. I was a little different from that, a little bigger and all this stuff. So that's why I went to elementary school.
So what was the name of the school?
Timothy Elementary School.
And you're saying it was a church school?
No.
It was just a public school.
It was a public school, but I guess they called it Timothy because back then all the churches had a school next to it, you know, a small school. And so it was Timothy Baptist School, elementary school.
Was this during segregation?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So were all of the schools segregated during that time?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So did the black kids also, I'm just trying to understand, because where I come from, there were no church schools. We didn't have any schools affiliated with churches.
Oh, really?
We just had sort of the public school, and we just had one school, and you had elementary through high school.
Yeah.
Everything, we just went there. All black people, not only in the town, but the entire county,
Yeah, I know.
were all dumped at that one school.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're saying way back then there was a church school, and was this a black church?
It was a black church.
Yeah.
And I said church school because it's right across the street from the church, and all the black churches had a school, a small school there. And I just assumed this is church school. Back then, there was we got school. Now they got elementary schools and different kinds of schools. And Timothy it went from 1st to 6th grade, and then we went to high school, Union Battery up the street there, where Brumby Hall is.
What was
where
that
Brumby
again?
Hall is up the street there.
What?
Used to be Brumby Hall.
Brumby.
Brumby. Yeah.
Hall. What is that?
That's one of the university buildings.
One of the university buildings.
Yeah. And we had a high school there called Union Baptist Institute. And they went to 12th grade there, 11th grade there. And you went there after you left elementary, that's where you went to school at. That was high school. Then Athens High was across town. Where Hills Face Baptist is now, it's a church over there. And we had 2 high schools in Athens. And, actually, 2 high schools, Athens Industrial and Union Baptist. And then you had the white high schools, and Athens High. Then they started building up and getting more and more, and they changed the names and stuff, and they built another school. And then you got schools everywhere now, so.
Okay. But when you were here, there were 2 high schools for blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Athens Industrial?
Industrial, yeah.
Athens Industrial High School.
Yeah, Athens High Industrial.
Athens High Industrial.
Industrial, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there was also this Union
Baptist.
High School.
Yeah, high school. That Baptist was a kind of an organization type school. They had had 2 stories to it, and people could board in that school too. People from out of town would come here to go to Union Baptist Institute, and they would stay there, so.
Did you have to apply to go to that school?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of like a private school then?
Well, it wasn't a private school, it was like public school, but
Right.
but it was this organization type, organized type, and anybody could go there, as far as I know,
That's
and,
interesting. I've never heard of that. That's interesting.
yeah.
So all of your sons went to Athens High Industrial.
No, they went to, the scattering went to, they went to Bonnie Harris one year.
What is that?
Bonnie Harris.
Bonnie Harris?
Bonnie Harris.
Bonnie Harris?
That's middle school over on, where middle school that, off of Broad Street over here by Hills Chapel Church. And you had Cedar Shoals High School, right on Cedar Shoals Drive. And you had elementary, you had East Athens. You had elementary school over by where the poultry is. Another East Athens. And they went to all those schools, depending on where they lived at back then.
So was this during integration when your sons went to school? So they didn't go to the segregated schools?
They broke that in. They started going to different schools after a while, And that was one reason they went all over town, because they had to go to separate schools. And you had to get your own way to school. Didn't have no school bus. They had school bus passed right by you and splashed mud all up on you, You walking to school or whatever. So that back in the segregation days.
So when did the integration start here? Integration of the schools. Was that in the 70s or the 80s?
I'm not sure, because all the schools I went to was just black schools. And when they started started blacks go to any school. I don't remember the year that was.
Okay.
That was back when.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, after you finished high school, what did you do? Did you go into the military, or did you?
No, I didn't. They wasn't drafting the year. I was going to go to the military. I was going to join the military, but they weren't drafting in back when I got out of high school. So then I went to work for this paper company, driving this paper company.
Okay. So what year did you graduate from high school?
That was 52, I believe it was. Okay. I think 52, I think.
Okay. So they were not drafting, so you went to work for Thornton. Did you, so you did, after high school, you didn't have go to any other kinds of schools?
No,
right? Okay.
No. I came to Georgia for about 2 quarters. I was studying TV operation and production, and that class kind of faded out. Some guy had that class going on, so I came to that about 2 quarters, and that was about it for schooling.
That is, when you say Georgia, you mean the University of Georgia?
Yeah. Mm.
Okay. What years did you do that? Or how old were you when you did that?
I must have been, I'd say 21 or 2, something like that.
You were about 21 or 22 years old?
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Okay. I see. Now, I want to talk about your music.
Oh, wow.
Your music background. Did you ever perform any kind of music when you were in these schools? Did they have any music class?
I did in Timothy Elementary School. That's where I went to elementary school at. And I'd sing there with the choir and whatever the teacher had going on, I would perform there. And they would have stuff like special day, they'd call it cheering day. And you go to different schools and perform, you know. So we did that. And so I did that over at Union Baptist Institute up the street there. And did a couple of songs there one time. And that was back in the, before I went to school, high school then. I was still at Union Baptist. And and other people, then I started singing more out different schools and different organizations and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about, your membership in the church? What churches, are you a member of a church?
Yes, I'm a member of Timothy Baptist Church.
Okay.
I'm down on Timothy Road right now.
I see.
And I'm a deacon over there. And I used to sing in the choir over there. but see, let me back up a little bit. I was singing in the choir at Timothy Baptist. Started singing I was like 10, 12 years old. And then we had a children's choir at church. I was singing in the children's choir. And we just go to cheering day. They have that every year at different churches. Like certain time of year you go around different churches, call it cheering day, where you go and you would sing and speak and this kind of stuff. And that was pretty interesting. And then I started singing the quartet after that. I had a brother in Southern one that challenged my older brother. He was in the army. He sung the quartet in the army. When he got out of service, he came home, so he started quartet at home. So me and Moses, my other brother, and 2 friends that we went to high school with, and we started quartet. So that's how I got started in quartet.
Mm-hmm. So I can know straight now, who were the names of the people in the quartet?
Quartet was William Jackson, Joseph Hester, Chauncey Turner, Moses Turner, and George Stroud. Yeah, George Stroud.
Okay. So always 5 people, but we call it a quartet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when did you start the quartet? When did your brother start the quartet? Was it in the 40s or the 50s?
Probably, I would say the 50s, I guess. 50s, because he got out of service, came home, and I was just out of high school, so I was in the 50s, I guess.
And what was the name of the quartet?
The Mighty Transpoteers.
Mighty
Transpoteers.
How did it get that name?
Well, that was the name he had when he was in service. The name was the Transpoteers. So he brought that name, and we just added the Mighty to it, Mighty Transpoteers. We were bad back then.
Okay. Now, how long were you together as a quartet?
We were together for, let's see how long we were together. We were together for years. I'd say probably 12, 13 years, I guess, yeah.
So you no longer perform as the quartet anymore?
No, we kind of quit performing as a quartet.
Okay.
Well, people start moving away. We was going to get into recording, that kind of thing. Then it went so long, people started doing different things, you know, and got involved in other stuff. And so quartet kind of broke up. Well, not really broke up. Then one guy started having illnesses in the quartet, you know, and so they couldn't sing. And so finally we just kind of quit singing. Quartet did.
I see. And I guess he never replaced anybody, because sometimes the quartets, if someone gets ill, they replace them.
Well, we did. Moses went off to school. We got another baritone, replaced him, a guy named Will Henry. And he replaced Moses, and then DjeDje started doing something else, and one of his wife brother started singing with us then in second tenor. And Johnson never was replaced, he first tenor. He never was replaced with anybody. And I was the lead singer in second tenor, so they never did replace me. So we then another guy named Max Sewell took Jackson's place one time in bass. And so we just kind of floated at that for a while. Okay.
Were there other quartets in the city around that time?
There was a lot of quartets all around. Well, yeah, there were quartets around. Okay. There were the Lighthouse Gospel Singers, the Golden Tone Gospel Singers. Those are the last only two I can think of right now. And the William Worker Gospel Singers, there were a couple of lady groups, so groups all around then.
And they were all based here in Athens?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was quite a community of people. Where did you perform? At what events?
Well, we performed kind of everywhere, mostly churches. Back then, mostly churches, because people get us to sing at different events, you know, like the Children's Day thing, we would sing at that. Other events, they would get quartets to do that. And sometimes they ever have quartets in the group put together their own program, you know. And that was really popular back then, you know. It's not so popular now, but back then it was real popular. You could put up a program anytime, you know. Any Saturday night or Sunday night, it'd be 6, 8 groups there, you know, and we just sing and have a good time. Mm-hmm. So.
Did you do it for money or just for some other reason?
Well, that was we just did it for fun, because, well, we could sing. We didn't know, we just having fun. So that's what we did back then.
Okay. Now, were any of the quartets affiliated with a church at all?
No, a lot of the guys that went to church, they weren't affiliated with the church. There was some quartets back then that were affiliated with the church to help sponsor them if they traveled somewhere, but didn't see that too much with the black churches. And a lot of white churches did that. And so I met a lot of them do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, during this time where because you mentioned white churches, there were white quartets around the same time. Did the black and the white quartets ever perform at same events?
No. I didn't know of many white quartets around that time anyways. No.
Oh, you didn't know of that many?
I know that many white quartets.
You didn't know of that many, or you didn't know of any?
Probably one or two. That's
two.
about it. Wasn't many at all.
Okay. Now, have you been a member of any other church besides Timothy?
Only Timothy.
Wow. Okay.
I
You're
think
a strong man.
I probably joined it maybe, I was early teen, probably 12, 13.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't born again when I joined the church. We decided we were going to join church one night, we did, you know. And why, I don't know, we did.
The same thing happened to me. I remember sitting in the back of the church when I was about 13 years old, about a few of us, about 4 or 5 of us, let's say, let's join the church. We're joining a revival.
Yeah,
and we all decided to go up there and join the church.
We was on the we were on the first bench, the mourners bench.
Uh-huh.
That's why we were on the mourners bench. So even after this, we went to the mourners bench. Yeah. They don't have that no more, but and we decided that day we were join the night. So we did. So.
And you've been there ever since.
Been there since.
And your wife, was she a member of Timothy?
No, she a member of another church here
What
in town.
church was she a member of?
Church called Macedonia.
What was the name? Was it Baptist?
That's Baptist.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And your children, were they members of the church?
They remember Timothy Baptist.
Okay. And you couldn't get your wife to join your church?
No, I didn't worry about doing that. I just, most people, they usually went with the husband. If they were married, they would go where the husband is.
Right.
Most of them did, but I didn't. Didn't matter to me.
Didn't matter.
I didn't push that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you said you perform music in the church. You said you sang with the children's choir, I suppose.
Yeah.
Have you performed with any other groups in the church?
No, I don't. Well, the adult choir.
Okay.
I sung with them a while.
Okay.
And then, I kind of quit singing in church for a while. I joined a rock band, and I sung in the band for 2 or 3 years. And one of the older guys used to play guitar. He said, if a fight start, get behind the piano, because the bullet won't go through the piano.
Say that again?
He said, if a fight break out, get behind the piano, because the bullet won't go through the piano.
The bullet won't go behind go through the piano.
Yeah, so I'm going to start shooting. So, and I was doing that. That got into me. I was scared to go to a dance, because people always get fighting, and stuff. So I finally put the band down. I just couldn't handle that.
Okay. So if I'm understanding you correctly, I'm trying to understand this now. You're a member of this quartet. You were a member of the band first.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then after you learn about all of the, whatever the consequences of being in the band, then that's when you decided to go into the quartet.
No, I went back to church.
You went back to church.
Back to the church. I never left church, but I went back to singing in church. And plus, I didn't like the smoke and stuff in the band. You smoke all, just close it all full of smoke and stuff. And I didn't like the smell of the smoke. So I just went back and sang choir in the church.
Now, why did you go to the rock band in the first place?
Well, because my brother wanted me to come and play drums in the band. So I went and played drums for the band. I played drums and sang in the band. And had Mike Simmons Tremolay, and I playing the drums and singing in the band. So did that 3 or 4 years, I guess. And like I said, I went back to singing in church mostly.
Now, what was the name of this band?
Honey Drippers, I believe.
Honey Drippers.
I think Honey Drippers.
My goodness, you know about the Honey Drippers, right?
No.
I mean, there's songs that are called Honey Drippers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think there was who was it? Somebody Lewis, I forget his name. He sang this song that was very popular during the 50s. So maybe, I don't know. Did that influence the name of this band at all?
No.
Okay.
The band was already formed, and I just joined it.
And it was called the Honey Drippers.
Honey Drippers.
Now, who started this band?
A guy named Calvin Durham. Calvin Durham.
Durham.
Yeah. And he was a school teacher down at Coma, Georgia.
Okay.
So he started the band. And so I just joined the band, and we got paid for that, of course. No big money, but little change. So it was okay.
Was it based here in Athens?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he used, I guess he commuted back and forth, or did he still?
Yeah. He lived up here in Athens. Mm-hmm. He taught school down in Coma. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Honey Drippers.
Yeah.
And how many people were in the band?
I think it was 6 of us. Had a trumpet, guitar, bass player, and saxophone, I believe. That's what they were.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
And what instrument did your brother play, or what did he do in the band?
He was playing the saxophone.
Saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you said you played drums. Now, where did this drum come from? I mean, did you study drums or learn to play drums?
No, I just picked it up.
You just picked it up?
Yep.
And you were good enough, and they decided to hire you for this band?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Did you play drums in the church at all?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Were you that good?
Well, I guess. Back then, I guess I was.
I see. That's pretty good to pick up the drums, and professional band hired you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We used to play all over Athens, all the frat houses, but have dances at dorms, you know. And we go there and they get us to come and play for them on Saturday nights, whatever they're having.
What kind of frat houses are you talking about?
Well, the guys live on campus.
Okay, so are these white frat houses?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is okay, I'm trying to understand. So this is during the 50s and 60s?
Yes.
Okay, so these white frat houses would invite a black band
to come and play.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What kind of music did you play?
It's rock and roll music. I guess you call it rock and roll music. Wasn't nothing contemporary, just basic music. And they lacked our style, so they didn't want us to come and play for the band.
Was this during the time of Elvis Presley and all of these people? I mean,
sort of, kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how would you describe the style of music you played?
We did stuff like what Elvis Presley was doing, James Brown was doing back in the day. We did that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Otis Redding and all those fellas. Temptation, we did all their songs.
Did you ever write or create your own songs?
I'm not a writer. I can't write anything. Can't write my name.
Well, did your group, did the band ever create any new music?
The band never did. Quartet did. We did this song, Somebody Touch Me. We cut a record on that. And Somebody Touch Me, Nobody Knows the Trouble I See. And we recorded that on the little record, the little 45. Right. The record back then. So we did a record on that.
Do you know who recorded it for you? The name of the company, or do you remember?
A guy lived there on Baxter Street, and I don't remember his name. There was a company on Baxter Street. And I don't remember his name, but he recorded for us.
So it was local?
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see, okay. Do you know if it was released outside of Athens?
No, it was not. No, it was not.
When you...
We didn't push it, we just cut it and just say, hey, we cut a record, and now we go with it. Right. And I really don't know when they sold any or not. May have sold a few, but we didn't push that either. We just cut the record.
I know in Los Angeles, and sometimes when the quartets go to different places, they would sell them at these places, mm-hmm. And if they had sheet music, they would sell them mm-hmm. at all of that. And if they had their photographs, did your quartet make any photographs?
We did not make any photographs. Oh, okay. We did photographs with the quartet, with the group. We did, not the band.
So, but the group you do. Do you have any of those photographs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. You may want to share them with.
Yeah, I'll bring you one by.
Yeah, I'm sure they would like to have that as part of their archive.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So let me see now. You've been a singer in the church, and you sang for the choir, mm-hmm. but you left that to go and perform with this band, and then you played with the quartet. So, have you performed? And then you also played drums.
Yeah.
And you haven't had any musical training for this.
No, and I also know how to blow saxophone a little bit too. I blew saxophone too. I had a couple songs I do saxophone with.
Now, where did you play the saxophone?
With the band.
Oh, with the band.
With the band.
Okay. So have you performed any other instruments or any other contacts with any other groups? I guess you performed with the Gospel Music Workshop of America, but outside of that, have you performed any other groups here in Athens? Not in
Athens. I sung with a group over in Atlanta once. They had the lead singer got sick or something or other, so and the manager of that group came down to my church to a revival one night, and I was singing, and he wanted me to come join them, filling for this guy while he was out sick. So I filled in him for a while, and for 3-4 years, I guess. And we went different places and all around Atlanta, and we go to Cincinnati every year for a group over there, and they would come here every year. So I did that kind of thing.
Okay. What was the name of that group? You remember?
What's the name of that group? Can't call the name of them now.
Okay, it might come to you. I know sometimes it comes.
Here we are.
It'll come to you. Now, how would you describe the music that you perform? Especially the religious music.
Now? Well, see,
back during the time when you were starting out.
Mostly like this stuff like the older groups. You probably remember the Temptations and James Brown and Elvis Presley, those kind. We sung stuff when the big boy was singing.
Right. But your religious music, when you're performing in the church, what kind of music were you performing?
That was gospel music, and that was like, back then, Mighty Clouds was famous. The Swan Quintet, Swan Silvertone, boys out of Augusta. And we sung, whatever the big guys sung, we sung. Whatever they did, we sung that, Okay. And I said the big boy, professional groups, I call them the big boys.
Mm-hmm. Now, remember when we talked on the phone, you said that you perform Southern gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the difference between Southern gospel and this quartet gospel you're talking about?
Well, actually, I really don't know how to explain that, but it's a different sound. Southern gospel have a different sound.
How is it different?
More of more of a tell a story all the time, tell a story mostly, what the Southern gospel does. And country gospel, they tell stories, the song tell a story. And they got a different sound to it. Because back then, actually it just had a different sound. You had to hear it to hear it. So I grew up listening to Nashville all the time. The station played all types of music. And my mom loved country music. And so we would listen to that station all the time out of Nashville. And I started singing that kind of stuff. So I started singing country gospel, Southern gospel. And certainly just carried over. So.
Did you perform the Southern gospel in black churches?
Sometimes. They don't take to it too much.
So where did you perform the Southern gospel?
The white churches.
White churches. So which churches? Can you give me the names of some of the churches?
Oh, well, that was Beach Haven over here on Broad Street, big old white church on Broad Street over there.
What
Beach
is it
Haven.
called? What is
called
it?
Beach Haven.
Beach Haven?
Beach Haven. Yeah, and
is that Baptist or Methodist?
It's Baptist.
Okay.
Then Prince Avenue. They will wait on 7-8 now. It used to be downtown, Prince Avenue Baptist. I sung pretty much all the churches around town.
So what years were these? I mean, when did you start performing the Southern gospel?
I've always sung that but in the black churches, I've sung stuff like I said earlier, the Temptations and the Soul Stirrers and those kind of groups. I was singing stuff like that. But when I start singing solos with the group, with that stuff, the kind of stuff we did, but I start singing solo, and when I start mostly doing the country, gospel, different styles of music.
Okay. So around what time is this? What years did you begin to sing solo?
That's probably 2000, something like that.
2000, okay. So, but prior to that, because you were telling me that the quartet, that was during the 50s and 60s, and then you had the band around, I guess we're talking about James Cleveland, not James Cleveland, but my mind is going to James Brown.
Yeah.
The 60s and 70s, so you're performing this, so that's around the 60s.
I think so.
And so you continue to perform that through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, or is there some time in there?
Yeah, sometime I would throw that in. So I used to perform with a musician playing for my girl at my church. She was a musician at the church, so she would play for me. And then I start moving around so much she couldn't go with me because she had to play at the church. So then I decided to go to soundtracks. I started doing soundtracks. And I would get my own music then, and a lot of that, rearrange it, and mostly I rearrange stuff.
Okay. Now, what's the name of this person who played for you, the woman at your church?
Her name was Jolene Cherry.
Jolene Cherry. And she played what instrument?
Piano.
She played piano. So she traveled, and then when she became not available, then you decided to
do soundtracks.
Do the soundtrack. Okay. Why do you think these white churches lack that Southern gospel? What's special about it?
That's what they grew up with.
That's what they grew up with. So why do you think the black churches don't like it?
They didn't like the sound.
Well, I'm trying to understand the sound.
So I can explain that. It has a different sound to it, like the Southern gospel, country gospel, they got kind of a whining sound like, and blacks just built it out there and they just kind of whine along with it. And that was the difference in the sound. And the music was different. The most of that music was on an offbeat.
Which one?
The Southern gospel is offbeat. They clap on the beat like this.
This is the Southern gospel.
The Southern gospel.
White churches.
The black church go.
So the black churches are playing
different on the beat.
On the beat or off the beat?
They play on the beat.
On the beat. And the white churches or the Southern gospel.
They're getting on the beat now, but they used to be off beat all the time.
I see.
But they're on the beat now.
Okay. So if I'm understanding.
Yeah, that's on the beat.
That's on the beat. 1, 2. And that's which one? That's Southern or?
That's Southern. That's more or less Southern gospel.
I see.
Southern gospel and country gospel back then.
Okay. And you learn most of your music from listening to Nashville.
Yeah, a lot of it. Then I started buying CDs from different groups and that kind of thing.
Okay. Do other blacks perform this Southern gospel or country gospel?
Not very many. You find a few now, but not very many. I went to a award show at Pigeon Forge Tuesday, and had groups that in different categories, that from everywhere. And I was the only black in it. It's kind of funny. I was the only black in the organization, called NATMA.
Say it again.
I was the only black in the organization they called NATMA. That's the name of NATMA.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means, but that's the name they use. And people there from everywhere in Pigeon Forge, and they'll sing 2 songs. And all week, the different performers sing 2 songs. Then on Sunday, they have the award. They have judges there judging everybody. And they do the award show Sunday. And that when you get a trophy or something like that, That's all you get. I didn't go back to the award show, so I don't took me 10 hours to come out. I'm up there too. I ain't going back for no award show. I didn't need no trophy. I got trophies everywhere, so I didn't need no trophy. So I didn't go back to the award show Sunday. But it's kind of fun to do it, you know. And like, it wasn't about that with me. Well, color, you know. But I feel real comfortable doing that, you know. And they liked it, you know. So, and there I did. I got one song I do. I mix it up a little bit. I kind of rearrange stuff. Have a little talk with Jesus. I got 3 versions in that song. Start off as Southern gospel style, then turn into a black style, and then it go back to Southern gospel style at the end. At the very end, go back to the black style, and just go rotate 4 different features in that song. And most people don't pick it up till after a while. It's, oh, he doing this, he doing that. You know, I can see the expression on the face. Oh, what are you doing? So I like doing that kind of stuff. So, so it works out pretty good.
Okay, and now what was the location of this place?
Pigeon Forge.
Pigeon
Forge.
Where is that located?
That's in Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's some distance from here.
Yeah.
Okay. When you perform, do you normally perform for money or for another reason?
It depends. If I'm going a long, long way, I try to get a little money for expenses, you know. And but I would go for nothing. If I can get there, the Lord will get me back. So I try not to have a fee for anything. And some people really put me down for that. You should charge, man. You can't just go around and sing for free. You got to charge folks. So I don't like to do that. Sometimes I do an honorarium. They do an honorarium. And that works out pretty good.
I don't want to get into your business, but what do you think would be a good honorarium?
Oh, wow.
How much?
Depends on where you're going and the event and this kind of thing. A lot involved with that.
Is it in the hundreds?
Well, yeah. Yeah, I would like for it to be. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It's a strange thing is fun how church people do sometimes. They will pay a professional group or person, somebody they've seen on TV or something. They'll pay them big bucks to come and sing. And they want you to come to that same church and sing for, $100 or less than $100, you know. And act like they done you a favor, you know. But it's just strange how they do that. But the same church I was talking about, this guy named, can't think of his name now, but he used to be on TBN a lot. And they got this guy to come in. And the guy was telling me, I went to him one night, and he said, oh, Jason left here, man. He left here last month. He paid about $12,000. And they gave me a love offering, about $75. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with that picture? And I thought I was just as good as this guy. He had, everybody else did too. But that's the way they do it sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I understand completely. Mm-hmm. Let me just look at this just a minute. I want to see if we've covered everything.